Samnang. This is Mrs. Sheen. Thank you for completing assignment 7.4. I noticed some really good things about your summary. First of all, you have included the key ideas, which is very good. It does not look like you've added anything that was not necessary. It also looks like you have the correct word order, and you started your article with the conventions, which is good. So I'm going to attach a document that more specifically marks up your writing. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a few issues with it, but let me say this. The first main problem, I would say, is that your writing contains a lot of errors, a lot of language errors. Now, this is normal because you are learning English. However, it is important that we understand your summary. And so the writing needs to be as correct as you can possibly make it. So one thing I'm going to recommend is that you try to write a little bit more simply, okay? Because if you can write your sentences in a more clear fashion, it may help. Now, you've got a really good start here. It's just a matter of working through the grammar. One thing you could do is you could work with a tutor on your writing. You might be taking a writing class as well. That might be helping you. But we have a language center at the Annandale campus where you can get free tutoring. You also can get free tutoring online through Smart Thinking, which is found in your student services section. So these are things you might consider just to help you with writing more clearly, okay, and just for getting extra practice. Now, let me talk specifically about what you've done here. So in the first part, you've done some really good things. You have in, and then you have centenarians, and you can actually take out the article. You don't have to put that there. You could just say, in centenarians, the author wrote. Okay, so the author, verb, that's good. Now, the next part needs to be the main idea, but the problem is you've expressed the main idea in 2 sentences, and it doesn't need to be in 2 sentences. You need to get it down to the basic idea. So all this stuff here about it is possible, you probably don't need that, okay? That's not really important. What's important is that researchers not believe, because they don't just think it and believe it, they discovered. The article says they discovered, which means they did research and they found proof. So you could say the researchers, because it's plural, researchers found what? What did they find? They found that these 3 things help people to live not just a long life, but for 100 years or more. So if you just take the words from these first 2 sentences that you wrote and simplify it, you're going to have a much better opening sentence. So you can write something similar to this. In centenarians, the author wrote that researchers found 3 reasons. What? For what? What's the 3 reasons for what? For why people live 100 years or more. Something like that, okay? Do not use quotation marks around these words, okay? You did that in several places. Environment, hereditary. You don't need to do that. Those are words you can just use, okay? There's no reason to put them in quotes. Also, I do not recommend this word roots. It's a little bit strange. I would just be more simple. Just say reasons. Okay, the article says factors. Okay, you could say reasons. You could switch. Sometimes say reason, sometimes say factor, but reasons is a perfectly good and simple substitute. okay? And then I'm going to mark a document for you and attach it, so that will help you. But watch out for just strange, strange English, like long life peoples. We don't talk about that. I mean, we don't talk about people in that way. We would say people. Okay, that's the noun. Now you can do two things. Yes, you could put an adjective here in front of it, like old people, but it's not just old people, right? It's people who live to be 100 or more. So you could say 100-year-old people, or you could say people who live to be 100, right? Or you can use the word from the article. You can call them centenarians. What are centenarians? People who live to be 100, right? So you could use that. So people who live to be 100, or centenarians. Those are good ways to talk about them, not long life peoples. Okay, and also notice that people is plural already. It does not have an S. No S. Okay, because you have person, which is singular, and then you have people, which is plural. So it's already plural. It's an irregular plural, so it doesn't have an S. Okay. Also, you want to watch out for fragments like right here. With their good diet and not being smoking and drinking. That is a fragment. It means it's an incomplete sentence, so it needs to be somehow attached to the previous sentence. Okay? And just there's just a number of places where you just need to check the grammar a little bit, okay? Look and see. One thing that I recommend to my students sometimes is that you read your writing aloud to yourself. Because sometimes after you write something and you take a little break, if you go back and you read it out loud, you can hear some of the mistakes. You might not hear all of them, but you'll hear that some things sound a little funny. So that can help you find a few of the mistakes and correct them. So that's what I would recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and grade this. I'm going to attach a document for you in my grades that will, highlight some of the awkward things and point things out that you need to fix. Okay. And so my main suggestion is on the revision is to still work on your language things. And then when it comes to summarizing on the test, I would recommend just being as simple as you can. Yes, you want to use synonyms. And yes, you have to change word order, and those things are very tricky. And that's why on a test, I understand those things when I'm grading. But at the same time, it's important that whoever reads your summary can understand it clearly. So you just want to keep working on writing good English sentences as much as possible. And sometimes that means writing simpler sentences until you learn more and continue to progress. Okay, so excellent start. You've got good content here. So just focus for me on mostly on fixing this first sentence, okay, and then just working through some of the grammar issues in the rest of the passage. All right, thank you so much, Samnang. Good work.